Hello, hello, hello. Good afternoon, everybody. Oh, I've lost Ash. Where's Ash gone? He's disappeared from me. He might be back. Hello, everybody. I'm going to keep chatting and we'll try and get Ash back very soon. He's pressed something clearly and he's disappeared from me. Um, Today, I can't believe it. Today is the last business shout out of the series, I've been calling it. Um, we've been doing these now for 12 weeks, and I cannot quite believe how quickly the time is going. I'm just going to send a little quick message to see where. Oh, here he is. He's back. He's back. He's back. He's back. He's back. He's back.
I didn't press anything. IT.
What happened? I was like, where are you? Where are you? But good. You're back. Welcome. That's okay. We like a little bit of, so to keep us on our toes. I was just saying to everybody who's viewing at the moment that this is our last Facebook Live of this series, I'm calling it. We've been doing these business shout outs every Friday for the last 12 weeks, and I just cannot believe where those 12 weeks have gone. But they were really born out of this kind of realization that we were all going to be impacted as a business community by COVID-19. And we really wanted to give some exposure to businesses to help them get a little bit of exposure, a bit of airtime, and really talk about how they've changed their business model, how they've innovated, how we can support them. And they've been so well received. We've had loads of people watching, loads of people interacting. And yeah, I was kind of talking to Rachel, our business development manager, about like, when do we wrap these up and who have we got lined up for the next kind of couple of weeks. And we looked at our books and we went, well, it's 12 weeks on the 12th of June. And we have Ashley Hutchinson that we could contact to perhaps wrap this up because it just felt right. And so thank you, Ash, for coming on today. I'm really, really excited to talk to you.
Well, thank you for having me.
Tell us a little bit about what you do and why it kind of makes sense for you to be here today on our final show.
So I own and run A&S Business Consultants. It's a small business and management consultancy practice based in Trowbridge. I've been running that now for the last 8 years. I've not quite known a time like this. When coronavirus hit, I had some clients screaming for some additional help, whether that was resizing the business, reforecasting what was going to happen, looking at what government support was available as that was dropping in. I had others that were really predicting a very, very tough time and actually reducing all of their expenditure. In some cases, that included pausing my services. So I was trying to pivot and adapt how I offered work to them so we could keep communication up. And then over the course of the last month or so, I've been greatly researching what it started out as a research project as to what the new normal looked like. But what's become apparent is that some time away yet as things keep changing. And so the last couple of weeks, as well as keeping my hand in on government support and short-term help and survival work for business, I've been trying to look forward as to what the next 12 to 24 months looks like and getting businesses ready for that.
Absolutely. And so for anybody who's watching, that's kind of why we asked Ash to come on to this last episode. I'm talking like it's a TV series. It could be a TV series. We've asked Ash to join us on this last episode because he is amazing at what he does. I've worked with him for a few months now. As I said, he is a business consultant, but he's been on the ball, ahead of the curve when it comes to support, advice and guidance and knowledge in terms of the business community and what's been impacting and affecting them during COVID and the kind of last 12 weeks in the pandemic. But not only that, it's like he's just said, it's about how businesses adapt going forward. So I hope what we got today is more about giving you tons of advice and also some food for thought. So I'm going to kind of start really, Ash, by saying or asking you what you saw as how your business operated pre-COVID and how it's changed and also maybe a little bit about how your clients, what you've seen for your clients changing as well?
Okay. So I started ANS in 2012, and I started ANS from a background in senior management in the consumer electronics sector. That involved a lot of traveling, a lot of time away from home, and I decided that I wanted a completely different path as my children were teenagers. And so I set ANS up primarily with the intention of working with local businesses. This was a bit of a shock to me to start with, because the organisation I worked for was listed on the AIM section of the London Stock Exchange. They were a sizable business, sourcing and selling products on a global basis with quite complex sales channels and processes in a relatively complex supply chain. The first client I worked for with ANS, I actually worked with for 5 years, and they were a relatively small business based in Wiltshire, and around about 90% of their revenue was coming in from 2 customers, both in the hospitality sector. And so the first project I undertook for them, and it's not quite as simple as it sounds, was to try to de-risk their business, which was quite a strategic job in some respects, but also was really hands-on, managing clients, managing customers, bringing new customers on board, and you're sort of running a sales and marketing strategy for them that was sort of client acquisition and development at the same time. That sort of sums up what I do. I work with business owners that are from various backgrounds and sizes across multiple sectors. I help them achieve their goals, both professionally and personally. And I think a big USP for me is trying to connect the personal goals of the business owner with what their business is doing. So they're both working in parallel to match the goals of the owner.
Absolutely, and I think that's a really good point, because when we first started working together, I hadn't really considered that, and I was just going hell for leather, to use that term, like business, and I hadn't really thought about how the two joined up and actually, really helped to work to change that mindset and start thinking about how the business should be helping the personal, and vice versa, like how they both fit together. So that's been a really, really useful task.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've also we've worked together during the outset of kind of COVID. How have you supported the business community? Because I know you've done loads. So you've got run your own business, you help other businesses run businesses. So you've kind of probably picked up a lot of stuff around the impact of that. How have you, as ANS business consultants, given back to the business community during this time? Because it's something that we talk about a lot with our guests.
So I think I've done 3 main things. The first is existing clients that were working with me that had a significant change in their income. I've tried to be as flexible as I can. So, for example, I've extended my payment terms to clients. In some cases, I've entered sort of a contra arrangement with them, where we're providing services both ways rather than actually cash changing hands. So that's the first thing, is sort of trying to work more flexibly with existing clients. I've started producing a business bulletin, which I fire out most weeks, very occasionally, like this week, twice a week, full of sort of facts and information, steering people towards the right web pages for the right government support packages, right criteria to see if they qualify, and offering opinions on whether I find it's useful and what their priority should be with sort of gathering information on the furlough scheme, self-employed income support, government grants, or the famous CBILS and bounce back loan schemes that have been available. Yeah. So that's the second thing. And third, I launched about a month, probably more like 6 weeks ago now, a free 30-minute consultation to any business owner, which is all held via Teams or Zoom. I've had almost 20 businesses take advantage of that over the course of the last 6 or so weeks. And I'll offer 30 minutes, quick diagnosis, quick snapshot of where their business is now, what support is available to them if they need it, what I would be taking advantage of quite quickly. And over the course of the last 2 or 3 weeks, started people thinking about coming out of lockdown, what that looks like, and the key actions they should be taking to get ready for it, but what they should be doing as they get back to full operations as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So if that sounds interesting to anybody, we're going to pop Ash's details into the comments. So his Facebook page, his website, Twitter, etc. do reach out, follow him, get in touch, take advantage. Ash is extremely skilled and experienced at what he does. He gives amazing support, and he knows what he's talking about. And it's there's no kind of fluffy advice and you may not. It is straight to the point. So if you're taking advantage of that 30 minutes, it's going to be 30 minutes, extremely focused and structured, and you will get some tangible kind of actions that you can really take away and start looking at and working on. So do take advantage. And again, I think it's great. You're chuckling away there, Ash.
I'm smiling because I can remember some of the sessions that are coming back into my head now. Where some of the advice I was given, you matched briefly with quite a shocked face. But then I almost always get something a day or two later. Go, I would never have thought of that. Never have thought of that. It was linking a wedding venue with a ring business. Thinking about, I suggested to someone a month or so ago that they could genuinely think about an outdoor theatre, an outdoor cinema. And that was about 4 weeks ago. And lo and behold, they've announced this week they can reopen. And I've seen people say, well, where are they all?
Yeah, absolutely. But I think that's that's what you need. That I think any business owner who's looking to get external support from a professional in order to develop and grow their business, they need to be prepared to hear things and be told things that may be a little bit uncomfortable. But that's entirely how they're going to survive, particularly and in general, but survive this period of time. So one of the things that you're really working on now is promoting this campaign of yours, Come Back Stronger. And it's really looking at this next period as lockdown begins to ease and what we're now knowing or referring to as the new normal. So do you want to just talk to us a little bit about that kind of campaign and what you are describing as the new normal and what people should be thinking about?
Yes, yeah. So there's the new normal, and there's another phrase sort of used in the business world called the low touch economy. Is talking about life after lockdown ends and after your business is able to reopen. My take on that at the moment is there is no form of normality expected for at least the next 12 to perhaps 24 months. Yeah, over that period of time, certainly the next 4 to 5 months, the furlough scheme and the self-employment income support scheme are still going to exist. We've got additional cash floating around small businesses in the form of bounce back loans and small and medium-sized businesses in the form of CBILS. And until all the staff come back into business and until that money has been spent, your businesses are going to be living in not a world of make-believe, but it's a false economy. That cash will be there in normal terms and it will be sustaining businesses that may not otherwise be there. It's going to take a period of time for all of that to wash out. It's going to take a period of time. And that's going to be likely 12 months. And then you're going to start to see the full scale of the unemployment challenge that the country on a national and a local basis is going to face. And through all of that as well, we've got to implement social distancing into our day-to-day lives. We've got the changes in people's habits as their values change. They're less likely to go shopping in crowded areas, less likely to spend money in pubs, less likely to attend festivals, and all of these behavioural traits are changing. And when you put all of that together in one pot, we're not going to be, in not just my opinion, but the opinion of the bodies I've been using to research this, that's going to take probably 18 to 24 months before some form of predictability and normality resumes. That's not to say we're not going to see growth in the economy. Now, the figures coming out this morning saying a 20% contraction in April. That's not to say we're not going to go up, but we're not going to get back to a predictable pattern for over a year, unfortunately.
Yeah, so you can see my face here. It kind of says it all. I'm going,
It's not all bad news. It's not all bad news. But the key message I want to get across to business owners today is if you plan and you have that as an expectation and a baseline, you're doing the right thing. And people like me can help get that baseline expectation into your business and help you plan for it. And we can help you take the right action so that as the market does start coming back, which is going to start coming back quite quickly, as it starts coming back, you can be grabbing market share and you can be grabbing additional business that you wouldn't otherwise have by doing the right things now. And then when the economy gets back to where it would otherwise have been, your business will be bigger, it will be stronger, and it will be more stable than it was.
Yeah, and I think there's two key points there actually that you raised from my perspective is one, for many business owners, perhaps in the smaller business kind of community, they might still be holding up a bit of a blinker or burying their head in the sand and kind of going, well, this is just going to go away in a few weeks, right? And we're all going to go back to normal. And I think it's really key that you spend some time to ask all those questions about your own business. Have you really thought in depth about the ways this could impact you? Not right now, but potentially in the future over these next kind of 12 to 18 months. Second of all, have you considered that that is the period of time that this is going to likely go on for, 12 to 18 months, not 12 days, once, lockdown is lifted or whatnot. So those are kind of really key things that people need to think about and consider and adapt their business to their business practice, really.
Yes.
And you can help them kind of think about that.
So the information I've just given you is very much headline. So it depends on what sector you're in. You'll be affected in different levels. How you behave in that sector, what your sales processes are, how you market yourself, how you communicate with your clients, how stable your supply chain is. All of those are variables that will either make a negative impact either magnified or less prevalent within your organization. So part of what I'm setting out to do over the course of the next few weeks is help individual companies assess their viability and their risk, and then help minimize that. And the term that's used right now quite often, if we say the word recession, the term that's used when we're in a challenging economy, let's say that, is go on the offensive, because anything that you can do now that betters your business will be magnified as your market comes back and expands. But please don't put blinkers on. Don't put your head in the sand. As redundancies and job loss increases, we're going to see consumer spending dip. That's going to impact most businesses. And as we see, staff and costs back into organisations and revenues not be the same that they were, we're likely to see bankruptcies as well. That's going to affect. It's going to affect a lot of people, just in different ways.
Yeah, and so it's really, really important if you are watching this, and I'm gonna kind of bring it back to a positive, because I am all about positivity.
Yes.
But if you are looking at it and looking at this or watching this and kind of going, do make use of these free 30-minute calls that Ash is offering, because even if you are a micro business, one-man band and somebody teams of 10 and up, like Ash said, he can work with you, and there will be things that he can help you consider and go away and plan for and do. So again, details are all now in the comments of Ash's website and social media feed, so get in touch. So positives, Ash, what is the positive of this?
So if you're doing the right things now, and I do mean sooner rather than later, you really can expect to not only survive this, but to come back bigger and stronger than you were. I also think there's some positive trends going to come out from this. I think there's going to be significant investment in infrastructure, for example, and so your companies and organisations that thrive in government investment in infrastructure, I think you're going to, if you position yourself and do the right things, I think you're going to do incredibly well. I also think there is an appetite from people to get out of lockdown and try to get back to some form of normality, and I think that's going to give us a little burst right at the start, which if you grab hold of and make work properly, I think that can give you a bit of a head start coming out of lockdown and coming back to hopefully some normality. And I think things like staycations and local travel, family values, all of those have been redressed, and people are thinking about differently, which is a great positive for the country that we live in.
Yeah, I totally agree. And like I said earlier, you need to be, your mindset needs to be that of such that you can you listen to the warnings and the potentials and mitigate the risks, listen to the risks, because that will allow you to continue building your business and to come back stronger, like you said. And to have somebody to work with is super useful in that, because it can be quite isolating and lonely as a business owner. I know that. and I said at the beginning of live that Ash and I have worked together now for a few months, and having somebody else to talk to at a high level, I suppose, that kind of exec level, is really useful. And for someone to challenge me on, well, you said you were going to do this, and is this still your vision, and how are we going to get there, and what are you doing? So that for me is a benefit of working with you. But kind of tell us if anybody is kind of thinking business coach, can't afford it, business coach, what is it? Like, what's the benefits of working with yourself, I guess, or our business coach?
I think I'd probably put that into two brackets. So professional development. So it will help you as an individual or your management team develop, which is a long-term benefit to your business, and it will turbocharge your business growth. Introducing the second is actually me working in your business as well as with the individuals. It's another pair of eyes, someone perhaps with more experience, perhaps with different experience, someone outside of the day-to-day operations of your organization will look at things differently and add a different perspective. I'm all about delivering growth, whether that is through working with individuals, a team, or even forming a team to drive a business forward, or working with the organization itself and its customers, looking at communications processes and marketing strategies, and trying to drive the business forward, position it correctly, and get the right messages in place. It can be really quite detailed. So the project I'm looking at literally as we speak is, as we come out of coronavirus, one of my clients is redressing an internal communication strategy. And I've just said to them, let me take a look at the format of the newsletter. We want to underline the fact this is new. It's a new time. We've got a fresh start here, and let's start afresh by making this look a bit better and look a bit more professional. And I can even work at little details like that.
Nice, exactly. I think that's a really good point there. That it's not, doesn't have to be huge and really high level. It's exactly plugging that skills gap, and it's adaptable to what that business needs.
Yes, yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
Yeah, and also, in terms of budgets, there are options to work with somebody like you, and just not somebody like you. The options to work with you, for a variety of sizes in there, and loads of different options.
So I made a decision around about 12 months ago that I didn't want price to be a barrier in offering services to businesses. So a micro business, for example, I will dip into and provide them support to at least once a quarter, and I'll do that for just over 100 quid a month. Really, really low cost. And if you want additional services on top of the quarterly meetings, they're available, but they're available at an affordable rate. If you need more direct support, so working with someone on a monthly basis, the entry price for that is £400, £400, and that includes about half a day a month sat with the leader of the business or the management team and doing what's needed, whether it's helping them develop professionally, whether it's sitting in on a management or a leadership meeting. If you're a larger organisation and your need is a little bit more of a board or company advisor, I'm very capable of providing that service as well, and then that's more detailed, more expertise, and more involved, and priced accordingly. That tends to start around about 1,500 a month. Yeah,
absolutely. So very accessible pricing structure there, which is great. Now it's coming up to 5 to 1 already. So I know the time's flown by, and I could honestly talk to you, and I say that to everybody I know, but I love talking. But I could honestly speak to you, can continue talking to you all afternoon, Ash, about what you're doing and how we need to be thinking and planning. But it's coming down to the end of our catch up. I know, it's mental. But 2 things I would like to end on is, one, thank you to everybody who's watched today. We've got a good, quite a lot of people actually tuning in and dipping in and out. So that's fantastic. Thank you so much. If you do have any questions, Ash, get in touch with him. I'd also like to say, Ash, thank you so much for joining me on this last episode of our business shout outs. It's been so great to chat to you.
Oh, it's a privilege to be the last one. Thank you for inviting me along. It's been,
I'd
just say, the fact that you've done this and given local business an opportunity to shout out at a time when they could be under a bit of pressure. What a great initiative. Well done.
Thank you. Thanks, Ash. That means a lot. I hope everybody's found it really useful. I would like to thank everybody who has been on with us over the last 12 weeks, and I wish everybody the best of luck with their businesses. And I really hope we all stay in touch and just drop us a line on social media. We're everywhere. So you will be able to find us. And then lastly, I just want to finish on Ash. 2 top tips or 1 top tip and something that you want to plug. So I know you're doing webinars. So this is your last kind of, how we can all get involved.
Top tip, plan what you think the future looks like in the short term. So actually, let's change that. Planning right now for your business should be in 2 stages. In the short term, it should be about survival. That's looking at the size of your business in the new world, particularly as we have a bit of turmoil to come, and making sure your costs are in the right place. So short-term survive. In the long term or the longer term planning, should we get on the offensive? Try to grab market share. Look at what your competitors are doing. Look at efficiencies and programs you can introduce to improve your business. So as the market comes back, you come back stronger. I'm running, you mentioned webinars. Thank you for that. I'm running webinars for individual business owners, which can be accessed from my website, asbusinessconsultants.uk/coronavirus. And you can book yourself an individual spot on a webinar with me and up to 7 other business owners, and they'll be run as an interactive session. Or if you run a slightly larger company and you'd like to have multiple colleagues on the same session as you, you can book 1 session dedicated to your company. All of them are available through the same page.
Brilliant. Thanks, Ash. And as I said, you're also offering those free 30-minute sessions. Anybody involved, those consults.
Smaller business, not sure whether it's for you, please take 30 minutes. And I'll happily give you all the help I can in that time.
Absolutely. So thank you, Ash. It's been a pleasure. And thank you everybody for watching. It's been a great 12 weeks, and I just wish everybody the best of luck to come back stronger from this. And I will be back live in a couple of weeks for our social media roundup. So stay tuned. See you all there. Thank you, everybody. Over and out.
Bye.